Alright. Deadmines and naked gnomes.
Last time, our hero was trapped deep in Horde territory at merely level 19. You might recall the
Oh wait, before I do this, I need another tank. If there's a tank that will help us with UBRS, please let me know. I need another tank for my Warlock. If somebody wants to come in here and help us out, message me or Court Jester, and we can start this up.
Of self-doubt and absolute fear of failure. But I pushed through.
Where the fuck do you go at level 19?
Because I realized just how far I've come. When I started out, I had nothing. Now, I've turned up the graphic settings, and I have a cape. And you happen to have come upon a glorious occasion.
He's a serious player now,
okay. My tuffle with the first major dungeon in our journey, Deadmines. Spend enough time in Azeroth, and you learn to improvise, adapt, and overcome. In the situation you're witnessing, many would make the mistake of helping the fellow Alliance player. I, the intellectual, molded by countless deaths, knows that the only means to an end is getting gear, and lots of gear.
That's right. Fuck everybody else and get everything for yourself.
I make sure to loot this rusty chest for any goods.
Yeah, I don't think he knew that was an NPC. Yeah, he had no idea that was a fucking NPC.
25 copper and a broken lock. I make off like a bandit. In this game, you gotta know when to be a hero and when to look out for number one. On the surface, Azeroth is adventurous and splendid, but in reality, it's a social-political nightmare RP sandbox. You never know what foolish fuckery you might run into. You may, in fact, spontaneously combust. Now, the Horde gank was expected, but imagine my surprise when I rezzed the Spirit Healer just to be met by Helcular's remains. A mob so much stronger than me that I see a skull instead of its level. A mob who will chase you down and make you his bitch. You may be surrounded by Horde scum
and have
them grant you mercy
what a fucking
if you wave back. Just to get smacked in the back of the head by a troll 2 minutes later. This fucking psychopath just hit me a couple times and watched me get mauled by a wolf. And it is in fact not unusual to have an orc moonwalk on your corpse. As you can imagine, I grew weary of Ashenvale quickly. I took the Hearthstone back to Darnassus. Take note of the high-level spinning technique that my WoW GF taught me. By the way, she hasn't spoken to me in weeks.
The meta for Hearthstoning is not actually to spin around in a circle. It's to jump right as the cast ends, so you hearth out while you're in the air. That's the way you actually do it. And it's a little bit harder to pull off now because of the spell batching, but that's what good players do now. You can do both though. Yeah, but it's like it's just too many keyboard movements. Like, yeah, you can't do that.
Didn't have long to dwell on it though, because before leaving Darnassus, I was swiftly disconnected, courtesy of Blizzard's patented gruesome servers. After the brief intermission, our journey to Westfall began. I sailed to Darkshore, and from there to Menethil Harbor. Along the way, I pondered life's greatest questions. Why does dual wielding give you a 19% mischance? Why did I choose Noggenfogger for the name instead of the server my friends play?
What do you mean, why does it give you a mischance? Are you fucking kidding? Go pick up 2 fucking swords and try to hit something over and over and over that's moving around. Like, you're gonna miss all the time. Like, trust me, I've done it. Like, I'm like swinging sticks around all the time in the backyard whenever I was a kid. Trust me, dual wielding does give you a 19% hit miss chance. Like, yeah, it does. Like, you have a 2-handed weapon, you can hit them every time.
Why did I get invited to the Nogger Nations Guild? Why did I accept? Are robots gonna take all our jobs? How will we combat climate change, overpopulation, and deal with the threat of AI? When will China start World War III? Why does white monster with rosé wine actually fucking bang? Boomer Jews, by the way. Then I flew to Stormwind. And from Stormwind, I traveled on foot to Westfall. When I arrived at my final destination, Sentinel Hill... I might actually break my fucking monitor.
I can relate.
Sentinel Hill.
You did it. There it is, dude.
I began a series of grueling tasks known as the Deadmines quest chain. Not difficult in the slightest, just fucking horrid. First, I've got to kill this guy who can be anywhere from here to here patrolling. Mind you, there's lots of people in this quest and you're more likely to run into his corpse.
That picture was
wrong.
Then
I travel halfway across the world to deliver a letter. There's literally a mailing system in this world, so I don't see why that would ever be necessary. By the way, it's 4 letters, not 1. And it's back and forth in different places.
Holy
Follow
shit.
that up with an escort mission.
This is where he's about to do
And you have
Deadmines.
the unholy
He's almost
trifecta
ready.
of gruesome game mechanics.
That's not his path. Yeah,
Now
it's
pay
not. He
close
doesn't go down
attention,
to the
alright?
bottom area.
1:20 a.m. I met Mike Miller and bought 40 loaves of
Prime
bread.
time.
It was at this point that I was ready to bust down the Deadmines dungeon. Now the question is, how did I end up at 4:20 a.m. still not having completed the dungeon at a naked gnome twerk party of all places?
Oh my God.
Well, this is what happened. First, we got a group together that seemed to have a
Oh
decent
my God,
shot.
dude.
We had a tank, a healer.
That's
it was
ridiculous.
good times, happy vibes, and smiles all around. We
Yeah,
started making our way
that's
into
nice.
the Deadmines just before the weekly realm restart. What I would consider to be our first crucial mistake.
Wait, does that mean that it took... Oh, wait, no, never mind.
We decided to meet up again
Never
in
mind.
half an hour. When we all logged on, our tank
Okay.
Glowin was missing, and a paladin offered
Wow,
to be our
what a
fifth.
surprise.
Without hesitation,
People don't come
I
back
invited
after the
Fuck
server
to the
reset.
party. 2 minutes later, our tank came online and said that he was on the way. Our group was in disarray, unsure
Okay.
how to proceed, and in need of leadership. They looked to me for guidance. I suggested a democratic vote, and to quote myself,
He spelled
I vote
democratically
we
right, I
just do
think.
it with the
Wow.
current party, cause I'm a bit of a cunt. This
Yeah.
was our second crucial mistake. You see, Glowin was loyal and determined,
Yeah.
strong but gentle. Fuck, on the other hand, was an irredeemable bastard. He needed for the blue drop even though it wasn't an upgrade for him. Got
Yeah,
it,
it is.
then proceeded to pull an entire room of mobs, get our
Oh.
whole party killed, and immediately leave us with no tank
Yeah,
at
fuck,
4
fuck.
a.m. This was the
Yeah, that guy's
karma
an
we
idiot.
got for turning our backs on Glowin. Now naturally,
I wonder if there's gonna be like people out there like this video, like whoever Falk is on Noggin Fogger, this video will follow him and haunt him for the rest of his classic WoW career. There'll be people like in Nax that are like, hey dude, fuck, oh dude, I remember you, man, you're that dumbass that fucked up that Deadmines run in that video, dude. What's up, man? Yeah, no, we don't have a spot for you though. Yeah, no, we don't have a spot. No, of course not.
some would argue that I could have tanked, but I wanted to dual wield with a 19% miss chance, so you can see why that wasn't on the table. It was here late
11
at night
damage.
that Hellmistress and I got to know each other. We had a hell of a good time waiting for the rest of the party. Our Chad Warlock Ninpu sat down to enjoy the show, and he had but one thing to say. So who do we invite? Very good question. I
Yeah.
pulled in the only alpha male in sight for a private show in the minecart. You gotta do what you gotta do to keep the party together at 4 a.m. Even
Oh,
if
boy.
that means saving Azeroth with your ass. I knew I was killing it when he uttered maximum comfy. Not long after, our gnome Avery overreached and presumed that
just
he
like-
could take a front row seat. I immediately scolded him and told him to know his place. When he then rudely requested that Hellmistress danced for him up close, I immediately knew that we were gonna have a
Like,
fucking
what?
problem here. We stripped him naked and made him dance
Oh.
for our amusement.
Hail to the night.
Admittedly,
Listen, this kind of stuff that people do in these games, I'm sorry, man, but I can't get into it. Like, I can't get, like, I'm such an asshole. Like, it's fun. I hate fun. Like, I don't know what it is about it, but I see people that are like, oh, let's just sit around and talk. I'm like, bitch, we gotta clear the dungeon. Shut the fuck up. Like, we're not here for fun, man. I'm here for loot. And like, that's the first thing I do. I guess I'm an asshole. I don't think it's a boomer thing at all. I think that boomers are the ones that play the game like that. Oh, let's just sit back and relax and just enjoy the game and have fun and, you know, just play WoW. No, it's not boomers at all. I think it's the opposite.
he was a pretty good
Fun
jester.
police? Yeah, you're
Although
right.
that didn't stop Hellmistress from leaving due to the severe social misstep by the gnome scum. Luckily, she was easily replaceable. Then an hour passed, and we had yet to find a tank. We were collectively about to give
Holy
up,
shit.
but then Muffy appeared out of nowhere, as sent from the heavens. 5 a.m., cock in hand, ready to rumble. We were gonna give Deadmines a third shot. What
5 in the
ensued
fucking
was
morning,
nothing
dude.
less
Holy
than
shit.
perfection. We all knew this was the last run of the night. our final opportunity to
Okay.
not feel like we just wasted our lives to watch a gnome twerk.
Okay.
Then came the moment
Okay.
of pre-traumatic stress disorder, also known as anxiety, when we opened the door to the room we wiped in, which we then obliterated with calculated primal fucking hatred. The game actually has elements of genuine strategy at this point. Having played for over 50 hours, I realized the experience of standing and hitting has actually improved by a significant margin. I'd love to tell you a little about the lore of this dungeon and the Defiance gang.
It's more
but to
than
be honest,
standing and hitting.
I didn't pay attention, not even a little bit.
No.
These guys are also
Fuck
in
it.
Hearthstone,
Who cares?
though, so I reckon that's probably where the devs took inspiration from. Then we
50 hours at level 19. To level 22 maybe now. 50 hours. I think this guy and my mom should have a leveling contest. I really think I don't know who would win. I really am not sure who would win. My mom, in order to get level 60 in WoW, 50 days slash blade. 50 days. She had 100 more days than I did back in Vanilla WoW and Burning Crusade and Wrath. She had 100 more days. I'm not kidding. 100 more days more slash played than me. It took me expansions to catch up to her. She was just having fun? Yeah, well, she was making money. She had the equivalent of like 25 million gold in Classic WoW. She was able to buy multiple people. She lent me the money and also just bought Zach his epic flying mount back in Burning Crusade. Like, she was rich as fuck.
find gunpowder and bust down this door with a massive cannon.
You there! Check out that noise!
And that's when we hear Mr. Smite for the first time. Slowly but surely, we methodically take out all the things in the way of my goal, completing my first dungeon. I can taste it. When you walk up on
exciting.
Mr. Smite, you get ambushed. Now, for a casual group of WoW enthusiasts, this part
Yeah.
is actually rather difficult. But for a group of war-hardened fucking animals up at 5 a.m., it
Yeah.
really is benign and laughable. Notice the perfect coordination. I aggro the two mobs, and the healer focuses on keeping
Just
me
randomly
alive,
running
whilst
around.
Muffy takes on the big guy. We
have
make
no
quick
fucking
work of
idea
the
what they're
two
doing.
weaklings, and then focus the full blunt force
Yep.
of our emotional instability on the Dawn, the big cheese, Mr. Smite. Also canonically referred to as Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide!
Now you're making
Oh,
me
jeez.
angry!
Now he's angry, so he pulls out the ultimate weapon, Smite's Hammer. Something he should have done from the beginning rather than right before dying. But I digress.
Yeah,
Against
probably.
all odds, the hammer actually
Oh.
fucking drops. And I
Need.
can tell it's a
Need.
massive stat upgrade for me.
Need.
Now let me explain how item drops work in dungeons. You can either
Need
greed,
on all of them,
need,
that's how they
or
work.
pass.
Need.
If all 5 players greed, each of them roll a number, and the one with the highest number gets the drop.
Yes.
If any players need, then it's a roll between those players, because that
Yeah.
takes priority.
Yeah.
One by one, I saw all my comrades in good faith press greed and not need. There I stood, with the power in my hands.
Any
it was up
greeters?
to me.
Any
I'd
greeters?
never had a blue item before,
Do it.
and the choice was mine. It was so tempting, yet
on
I
it.
recall a promise I made to
Need
myself
on it,
a
you
long
fucking
time
bitch.
ago, that I would live
Need
a
on it,
kind,
you
humble life
fucking
of self-reflection and morality. I press greed, and with absolute vengeance and fury, roll a 72 to receive Smite's
Oh.
Hammer. Now, I'm not a salty loser, but I am
Okay.
one hell of a
All right.
cunty winner. I make sure to inform
Yep.
the others that he who greeds as the 5th man has a good heart.
Yeah.
As we make our way up to the final
Let everybody know
challenge,
he's better than
Edwin
they are.
Van Cleef. Actually, it's
That's
at this
karma,
very
obviously.
moment that the game starts playing Jornio's theme. I'm pleasantly surprised they licensed that into WoW Classic, but it definitely hypes you up for the
incredible.
final battle. After blowing him a kiss and waving at him, it's
Okay.
time to stop the fun time happy hour and enter go
Beat
mode.
his dick
Now
off.
I knew shit was going sideways when Muffy fell. When the mobs then started targeting our healer, I did the only sensible
Can I go back? I want to look at how many stacks he has for retaliation there. Where is it?
him a kiss and waving
I
at him.
wanna see his
It's time to
retaliation
stop
stacks.
the fun time happy hour and enter go mode. Now I knew
30 stacks. So he used retaliation. It literally did nothing. He might as well have just had arcane intellect. Like 30 stacks with 2 seconds left. Retaliation literally did nothing. Amazing.
shit was going sideways when Muffy fell. When the mobs then started targeting our healer, I did the only sensible thing. ignore it entirely, and focus on the boss.
Of course.
I managed to take him down while our healer got slaughtered. But I'm an optimist. I can always see the positive side.
Yeah.
Like how the gnome scum fell shortly after. It was then up to me and our Chad Warlock, who
Jump
actually,
on the
now
wheel.
that I look back at the footage,
He's got
is a rogue and not a warlock.
Oh,
But I'm
yeah.
not doing it over. It's besides the point. Whatever.
There
Fuck.
is that.
It's up to me and Ninpu, the higher intellects
Yeah, y'all
of the
are
group,
dead.
who dual wield one-handed weapons with a 19%
Yeah,
miss
you guys are 100%
And I
dead.
can't think of any reason why our DPS would be inadequate. Surely the healer and tank are at fault for dying here. Finally,
Never
we
mind, the rogue is
prevail,
carrying.
just to see Edwin Van Queef drop a sick set chest piece.
Ooh.
Ninpu selects need.
Need.
I select need.
Need.
Eliatra selects need.
Need.
And our brainlet gnome player selects greed. Ninpu rolls a 10. Eliatra rolls a 69.
He's gonna win.
Yours truly? Fucking 80! Boom!
Oh, I
Real
knew
gamer
it.
hours. Ninpu says
I knew
fuck
it.
my life and rage
Kill
quits.
me.
And there I stood, entirely fulfilled in
Imagine being Ninpu. Imagine sitting there through 5 a.m. dungeon group with 4 other dipshits that can barely play the game, and you sit there carrying them through the entire fucking run. The last boss finally drops the item that you need, and the warrior who's dual wielding at level 17 wins the fucking roll. Yeah, and it's leather. Yeah, I'd be pissed.
pure pleasure, waiting for the others to return. Dare I say, chillin' like a villain. My
Okay.
comrades return, and we agree to kill the cookie monster. However, I proceed to fall down and aggro all these mobs. The boydom came to the rescue, but I know a losing battle when I see one.
Yeah.
I make my escape down the only path available to me, and run for
He
my
just runs
fucking
away
life.
and lets Mafi
Being
die.
chased by goblins, bandits, and murlocs.
Oh, wow.
I can't help but feel that I should have been the one to resurrect and walk 15 minutes to my corpse. And they should have been the ones to escape.
Yeah,
But
probably.
of course, there's no need
Yeah.
to cry over
little
spilled milk. In World of Warcraft, the day-night cycle is the same as real time, and as I exit the dungeon, I see the sun rising.
Ooh.
See? It's not all that different from real life.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing.
I hand in the Deadmines quest and go repair my armor.
He doesn't have
then take a
cardboard
small
nailed
detour
up
to the
over his
Ironforged
windows, though.
Weapons Master
Not
so
a
that
real
we can
gamer.
skank out with this new hammer.
Oh,
By the
jeez.
way, using a weapon class for the first time gives the phrase, a swing and a miss, a whole new meaning. After testing out Smite's hammer, I went back to the place that made me realize World of Warcraft is indeed a fucker's game. Ashenvale, the Los Angeles of
fucker's
Azeroth.
game?
And from there, I journeyed into uncharted territory.
A
the
fucker's
Stone
game?
Talon Mountains. It was time for the Horde shitheads to pay the price of being on the wrong side of history.
Okay.
I had a blast murdering these fucking losers time and
Okay.
time again. There's nothing quite like seeing a man
Oh,
die.
shit.
Here we go again. And walk all the way to his corpse just to get obliterated again, forcing them to resurrect
Oh,
the spirit
no.
healer, breaking
He's gonna
all
die
their
from the
equipment by
dodge.
25%, and providing them with an unfortunate resurrection sickness that makes them
Oh,
75% weaker for 10 minutes.
God damn, dude,
is
that
the real
hammer hits
payoff in
hard.
WoW. You get to make
What
other
the
people
hell?
waste so much fucking time, and in a manner
Yep.
that's intensely aggravating. It's fucking sick. Unfortunately for me, I would at this point come to learn that what
Pops
comes
retail?
around goes around. The players I'd been tormenting
no.
ended up grouping up and spreading the word of my misdeeds. Considering I was the only Alliance player in this area,
He
I
just got
now
his ass
went
beat.
through retribution of the highest caliber. When
Wow.
leaving the area after numerous
Not a
deaths,
surprise.
I thought that my peril for the night was over. God, was I wrong. I went into a cursed land
Oh,
known as
jeez.
the Charred Vale,
These fucking
just to
mobs,
complete
man.
one simple
These
quest.
fucking mobs
There
are
are
the
these
most
4
annoying
mobs,
thing
and I
ever.
gotta kill 7 of each. Simple enough, right?
No.
Except for the fact that the Charred Vale is packed to the
Not
brim with
simple.
Horde players. So the experience goes a bit like this. Find and kill one of the mobs,
Uh-huh.
and then I die. Courtesy of some cunt Horde player.
Yeah, there is that.
Got it. Then I walk all the
Some
way to my
interesting
corpse
sound
and
effects.
repeat. Sometimes the experience is actually
Shit.
a bit different and varied, because I'll also just die to the mobs. I should have just given up, but for whatever reason, I was
That's the
hell-bent
horde right there.
on
See that? He's getting the true vanilla WoW experience. Getting killed 3-on-1 by the horde. See, you'll never see a horde player engage you in combat unless it's a completely unfair fight. Like, it's a completely unfair, unbalanced, ridiculously broken, one-sided bullshit fight. But if you ever have people that are, you know, like a 1v1, oh no, they're just gonna walk by and wave at you. But whenever they come, this is the worst one. I had this one guy do this. He walked by, he waved at me. Then he comes back with his friend, and he kills me with his friend. Like, after we were just like, we're friendly. I was like, what up? He's like, what up? And then he just fucking comes back with his friend and kills me. Alliance never do that. Horde always do that.
Finishing this godforsaken fucking quest. This guy fucking ate my corpse. But World of Warcraft has really diverse gameplay, you know? You never know if you're gonna die to the Horde gank, or the mobs, or the very Blizzard servers themselves.
Oh yeah, there is that.
It took me an hour and a half. I went through this bullshit until 4 a.m., at which point I left the Stone Talon Mountains to never return. Now, you might recall a certain apathy regarding the fact that I can only fight one mob at once. But after 70 hours of game time, you can do this. You fucking murlocs!
I thought I was gonna say something else.
Notice how I level up right before
good.
dying to the last murloc.
Ooh,
I consider
that's
that
smart.
one of my more precise calculations. Interestingly, I had to play for over 70 hours before being able to take on more than one enemy at a time. And I can't do that very often, considering retaliation is on a half-hour cooldown. And you might still just fucking die. This is a fucker's game. Yet, it's a fucker's game with one redeeming quality. This gnome wanted to buy an axe off me for 1 gold. He then
Steal
realizes
his money.
mid-trade that he doesn't have 1 gold at all. I tell him
Fucking
I'll hold on to
idiot.
the axe for him until he gets the money.
Fucking
on the
idiot.
premise that he takes all his clothes off and fills out the only appropriate function in society for a gnome. Dancing naked for my amusement. Did I ever end up selling him the axe?
No. Okay. Alright, listen. These videos are actually really good. I like these a lot. These are really, really funny videos. I'm gonna be honest. Like, these are... So people, whenever these videos first came out, a lot of people suggested for me to go ahead and watch them. And I kind of was like, I don't know who this is. I don't know what this is. I just assumed that it was bullshit. But these videos are actually really funny. I remember watching I think it was like this other guy, Barney, that made videos too. And just all of them in general were really fucking funny. So I will... How many of these are there? Let me go ahead and take a look and just double check here.